And welcome back to a new episode and week review with Tanoka 1. This week we are reviewing 11/16 called Safe House, written by Robbie Thompson, who is fabulous and my hero. We're going to run through this real quick, and I'm going to do something a little different after the review. I liked the episode. Everybody seemed to like the episode. Rufus is my spirit animal. I appreciate him greatly. Oh, bless Rufus. I love him dearly. I've missed Rufus. I've missed somebody as snarky and bitter as me. Oh yeah. I also missed Bobby. That was great too. But I missed Rufus. Couple points real quick. Lesbian moms. Dude, I was so excited. Okay, even better. Lesbian moms that don't die. This is so fabulous. I don't know if you keep up with the 100 and stuff, but everybody's really upset because, spoilers, Lexa dies. Shortly after a canon love scene with Clark, who, a lot of lead into it, will they, won't they, you know, because at one point Clark did turn her down and then they finally ended up together, and then Lexa dies. And so there's a lot of hullabaloo going on right now about the fact that, like, literally, easily created list of about 100 lesbians in television, movies, stuff like that die. That's not even including books. That have all died. Why and how? Some you gotta take with a grain of salt because on some of these everybody dies. You know, I wasn't as upset by Lexa's death as other people were, because there was lead up to the fact and foreshadowing, but it's still the fact of the matter that she's one more in a staggering statistic of you know, lesbian characters that die. It permeates both television, movies, books, comics, you name it. If any character is going to die or have something horrible happen to him, it's the gay one. And that's kind of why everybody's upset right now. We're really sick of the trend. So, it was really nice to see lesbian moms that are just like a normal, happy, cute little couple, because you totally at first expect it to be a hetero couple, except it's not. And then you realize, okay, wait, did she see my wife? Yes! And then they're adorable and they survive and the little girl survives and it was all happy and joy and it's just like, yes, this is good, thank you. Also, by the way, I have the flu. I'm recovering from the flu. So I don't have much energy, so that's part of the reason I'm breezing through this real fast. Another point I was a little disappointed with as far as the episode with the Soul Eater house thing. Sam makes the point talking about the fact that basically the house shows you people you love, you know, says something about like little pieces of your soul to basically keep the soul vulnerable. And Dean, of course, sees Sam dead on the floor, which, of course, wasn't that big of a deal, because, one, Dean was prepared to see him. It was expecting it, so he knew exactly what to do. You know, it wasn't that big of a deal. Me, personally, I think if the house wanted to basically keep his soul as vulnerable as possible, I would think it would have targeted what he was already worrying and stressed out about, which would have been Amara and Castiel, which he mentions twice in the episode. Maybe not so much seeing Amara dead on the floor would have kept him vulnerable. Doesn't necessarily mean they have to be dead, but just being confronted with her would have kept him on edge. Also, he's worried and stressed out about Castiel, so, you know, he's worried about what's going to happen to him. Dean seeing Sam on the floor doesn't really count because he knows Sam is fine, because this is part of their plan. They're working on it. Sam's on one side of the wall, or one side of the nest, doing his thing. Dean's going to be on the other side. This is all part of the plan, and so it just didn't really, you know? That was the only thing I was kind of disappointed with, is they had a point to basically reveal Dean's vulnerabilities and basically crack him open and expose him more than, you know, more than he normally would allow. And they didn't. And it was more like they played it easy. Not even that they played it safe. They just went with what was easy. And so that kind of, I was disappointed with that. But other than that, I really liked the episode. Yeah, and I hope you did too. Again, you are always more than welcome to leave comments, feedback, questions, blah, 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 in the comments below. I'm going to run through a couple different things right quick. One, in case you don't follow on my Tumblr, I am going to be planning on doing a giveaway. Several of the items that will be given away will be actually 2 items will be printed out copies and hand-bound copies of 2 of my fics that Deep Foxed in Germany. It did for me as gifts. They're awesome. I don't have them yet because she hasn't shipped them to me, but I have seen pictures and videos of them. She literally hand-stitched these together. They're amazing. Made the covers and everything. They're beautiful. I will also be giving away a throw pillow of Gadriel that I got off of Society 6. Then I will be giving away some of the Funko mini mysteries figures. I actually like to use them to play the Supernatural Monopoly board game. And then of course I have the full collection of back there. And just other little tiny little things. So if you're interested, you'll have to follow me on my blog so you can keep up with that. And you know, get in on it when it actually does go live. On the subject of being sick and having the flu, which is so much fun, I was going to suggest, you know, if you're like me and miserable, or if you're the worst level of purgatory hell that comes with being sick is when you're so miserably sleepy but you can't actually fall asleep, what to do in the meantime. So what I've done for the past several days, my days have been taken up with basically aliens, dinosaurs, vampires, and anime. Mostly Inuyasha, actually. I've binge watched me some Inuyasha because the classics, right? Right, okay. So, but movie-wise, ta-da! We have Jurassic World, Dracula Untold, and World War Z, starring Brad Pitt and the 12th Doctor. Also, The Fifth Wave. Basically, post-apocalyptic dystopian society involving aliens. Very, very good, actually. Very good. Yeah, I can't even, the feel of it is eerie, it's creepy, it's desolate, it's just, the entire vibe is amazing. And it switches between points of view, and it's so good. I'm enjoying it very much. Though being sick, I keep having to stop. Because it's like, okay, I don't have the energy to pay attention anymore, so I'm gonna watch TV, since I can't fall asleep or something. And yes, zombies and dinosaurs and vampires are things that make me happy. Don't judge me. There are enough monsters in the real world that, like, I don't want to watch movies about them. Like, why would I want to watch movies about terrorists and kidnappings and political backstabbing? Why? That's everyday life. Why would I want that? I'm gonna watch, you know, movies about the monsters I know I'm safe from. So far. So yeah. And next, since you get to see them so often in my videos, I thought it was proper you be finally formally introduced. I have 3 dogs. All of them are rescue dogs, each with their own little story, so we'll get through that really quick. This is Roxanne, who just got apparently a bath from her sister. She is a rescue dog I found several years ago in a parking lot and literally had to half shave because her fur was so matted and nasty. She never have I ever seen a dog with fleas as bad as this child had. No collar, no nothing. Packed her up, took her home after I got off work, and gave her a bath, gave her several baths actually. And I've had her for about 7 years.
Yes.
She is spoiled rotten and called Lucifer because she does not mind. She is stubborn and she is very, very, very jealous.
Yes.
This is Castiel.
Ta-da!
She is named such because she was, how I got her was that I had a friend of mine who called me and said she found out about a friend of a friend whose dogs had had a litter of puppies that literally they were trying to get rid of, and the ones they couldn't get rid of they were going to basically put in a gym bag and throw in the creek. No, I'm not joking. So she and I went over there to try to, look at the puppies and pick them out, the ones we wanted. And then, of course, worked hard to try and get all the other puppies adopted as well. And then, of course, reported the owners and got the parents adopted out and taken away from them. Castiel was the runt of the litter. She is a Dapple Dachshund. Of the litter, she's the only one that came out a Dapple Dachshund. And because, I don't know if maybe because her coloring and markings and stuff were different than theirs, that she was basically the outcast. And she looked different. She was smaller than all of them. Like every time we came over there a couple times before, because the puppies were too young at first to take them away from the parents and to separate them all up. And we were still trying to find homes for all the puppies, in which case, you know, the owners of the dogs were going to wait until, you know, the dogs were, of course, old enough, and they were going to give it time before the creek measure. But, you know, we're still in a rush. And so, every time we'd gone over there, we went over there like twice to check on 2 or 3 times to check on the dogs. And, every time Cass was always by herself. And just kind of sad and crying. God love her. And so I ended up, was like this one, that one right there. That one needs me. And, I'd originally knew I wanted a girl, but, like saw her and I was like, I don't care what gender it is, I want that one. That one needs me. Like I said, I've had her for several years now.
Yes.
And she's very, very passive and sweet and likes to lick everybody and everything. Yes, her does. We have Stitch, who is my problem child. Stitch was actually hit by a car right in front of me. Stitch was, what happened was that Stitch ran out on the highway. I was actually on the way to the vet with my mom and a cat. Because her truck can't make it to our vets. We go out of the way to go to this vet because they're very good. And they've saved actually one of our other dogs' lives. So we have lots of animals. I rescue lots of animals. But I only have 3 dogs. And no cats. So we were taking Chloe to the vet. And Stitch got hit by a car right in front of us. And it was the most god-awful thing I think I've ever seen. And the lady, of course, who hit him, you know, stopped. And a man got out of his car and was going to basically just sort of move him off to the side of the road. And then, you know, so traffic could keep going. Like, I think I just told Mom, I was like, put the dog in my car and we will take him to the vet. We're just down the street. And so that's actually literally what we did. We put him in the back seat. The woman who hit him followed us to the vet just down the street. And then come to find out, the person who was basically his owner, quote unquote, you'll see why, followed us as well. And so, which case we get there and we're having to get the nurse to come get him because he's bleeding out both ends. We get there and the woman is, of course, just still bawling her eyes out. And we get inside and we're talking to the nurse and, you know, the confusion of, okay, whose dog is it? And the woman who actually owned the dog was just like, she goes like, the dog is mine. And she's like, and the nurse is like, okay, how old is the dog? She's like, well, we had her had him a couple of years now. And she's talking about the fact that, like, you know, okay, well, we're going to need to probably do emergency surgery, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. In which case, you know, the lady who hit him was just like, no, I'll take care of that. That's me you need to talk to about that. And so the owner was, and you know, the nurse looking at me like, you know, okay, and who are you? I'm like, I'm the one who's the dog just bled all over her back seat. And so I was like, I'm the one who got the dog and brought him here. And so the woman who owned the dog, or owned Stitch before, was just like, no, don't do that as far as surgery or whatever. She's like, it's too expensive. I can't afford it. No, just put him down. And and the lady who hit him was horrified. She's like, no, you don't understand. I'm gonna pay for all of his medical bills. You don't have to worry about it. And the woman was just like, yes, I know, but she's like, you know, I'm older. She's like, you know, I don't, you know, the kids are out of the house, you know, I don't have any grandkids. It's too much of a hassle. I don't want to fool with it. You know, I'd have to take care of him even if you took care of all the medical bills and, you know, take care of him afterwards until he was better. I don't want to fool with it. Just put him down. It's easier. And the nurse, the lady that hit him, and me are all looking at each other like, and the nurse is like, I can't say anything. I'm not. So, I look at the lady and I'm like, well, in that case, can I adopt your dog? And she looks at me and she's just like, are you sure you want to be bothered with him? I was like, ma'am, I would love to be bothered with your dog. Well, fine, sure, I don't care. And I'm just, great! And the nurse is like, okay, well, we need you to sign a form saying that she is now the new owner and that you know, waive all responsibility for the dog. It is no longer yours. And I was like, what is the dog's name? And she's like, oh, he doesn't have one. And I'm like, didn't you say you've had this dog for a couple of years? And she's just like, yeah. And he doesn't have a name? No. So then I have, yeah, just all looks around and just like trying to bite our tongue so hard because some people, it hurts me down to my soul. Well, then the vet calls me later that afternoon and he's just like, okay, look, I want you to understand. This dog got hit hard. You know, his pelvis is crushed. His tail is destroyed. His anus is ruptured. You know, there's a very real chance you are going to have a special needs dog, you know, at the end of this. That he may never be able to use his back legs again, that he will never be able to control his bowel or his bladder or anything ever again. You know, it's serious. You know, the damage is extensive. He's not going to be a normal puppy. And he's like, are you sure, before we go through and finish the surgery, you know, that you want to take responsibility for this? He's like, or which case we can still go through with it and find somebody else who can take him. I was like, no, it's fine. I will take the dog. And yeah, that began the long rehabilitation process that was Stitch. This dog, not only was he going to be special needs at first because he was of his surgery and the fact that the bottom half, all his bones were broken. Once he regained consciousness, we learned something about him. He is terrified of people. And has basically all the signs of having been abused. He is terrified of people. He is very aggressive. And especially if he doesn't know you, his first instinct is to bite you. And so that became a long, I'm going to have to put him through actually, with us it's fine. He's actually fine with the other dogs. You can see as he's being loved on non-stop right here. Yes, I see you. we're gonna have to put him in with a training class with one-on-one with a trainer, which, God almighty, I have no idea how expensive that's gonna be. But it's basically necessary because Stitch has issues. He's very bonded to me because after he got hit by a car, I'm the one who took care of him. I'm the one who had to clean out his kennel and had to take the time to, you know, be able to get him to trust me, not bite at me when I was trying to take care of him during all of this. And then was the one who had to pick him up and carry him outside multiple times a day so he could go to the bathroom, and then hold him so that he could go to the bathroom because, like I said, bottom half crushed. Could not put any weight on his legs, basically. I just had to stand there and hold him. And then, like, you know, take him inside, bathe him, or not necessarily bathe him, but rinse him off because, you know, he would just go to the bathroom in his kennel and be in his own filth because he couldn't move. Have to do that several times a day. So he and I are bonded. Not to mention he bled all over the back seat of my car, which he's not the first dog to do that. He probably won't be the last dog to do that. Long story. There's a bond that's built between a human and an animal when they bleed and vomit and urinate all over your car while you're trying to rush them to the vet as soon as possible. But yeah, those are my dogs. And they are precious and I love them very much. You know, if you see him now, well, as far as with the vet saying that he would never walk again or that he wouldn't be able to control his bowels and stuff like that, Stitch is an inside dog. Stitch can hold control whether or not he goes to the bathroom. He can walk, he can run, he can do all the things puppies can do. You can tell looking at him that he's not shaped quite right. His back end, his hips don't look right. He always kind of seems to be curved. And then his tail doesn't wag. He can sort of lift it up and then you'll see it move like a little bit like it's twitching. That is the equivalent of him wagging his tail, which is better than what the vets, of course, thought. They thought it was going to have to be amputated. So we're really glad that didn't have to happen. But yeah, these are the stories of my rescue puppies. So yeah, that all being said, take care of your animals. Spay, neuter them, keep them in your yard, keep them on a leash, feed them, don't hit them, you know, report any animal abuse you see. And if you come in my yard and you have hurt my animals, I will take a baseball bat to you. Just saying. But yeah, see y'all next week. Hope you enjoyed. Looking forward to next week's episode. Apparently things get very serious. Bye!